guys, it's been a while since I made a video like how I would do it, or pretty much my ideas on TV shows and stuff like that. So I wanted to make a little bit of I guess, series. I already made a series. I already made a TV show, not TV show, but a video on how to make the perfect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle TV show. But now I'm going to be switching to how to make the perfect Spider-Man show. Now, basically, what's going to start it off is I'm going to talk about the seasons, the tropes, and certain characters and ideas I want them to create. So, with the whole Invincible thing going on, people saying, hey, yo, they finna do an Invincible Spider-Man crossover TV show. This episode. And I really want them to drop a spin-off animated Spider-Man show. Hear me out. So, the animated TV show will basically be given out to the public, or the idea of it given out to the public, if they make a Invincible and Spider-Man crossover episode. With that episode, they're gonna give out basically a little bit of a debate, like, are we gonna drop an animated Spider-Man show in the Invincible timeline or multiverse and stuff like that? And I feel like they should. So I feel like they should drop a Spider-Man animated show with the same animation as Invincible. And I think I want it to start off with year one of Spider-Man. Basically, a younger Peter Parker. And this Peter Parker is going to be basically inspired by the ultimate version of Peter Parker. Him being more of like a 15, 16-year-old kid. The first year, Spider-Man, we get hit with like 3 episodes of him with his, basically, I guess, a homemade suit. And then we get hit with the 4th episode, him having this, OG red and blue suit as he fights against his classic rogues gallery each episode, and it being about, let's say like 10, 11, 12 episodes, as season 1 is mainly just a grounded take on Spider-Man, learning about his abilities, learning about his responsibilities, him coping with the death of his uncle, and basically stuff like that. And I want them to bring back the roots of the more mature animated TV shows, like it being bloody and gory, just like Invincible, it having pretty much the opportunity, like characters dying, being killed left and right. And basically I want them to make their own creativity. Like, I want them to really explore creativity to its fullest, and then maybe even kill off some characters like freaking Daredevil. I don't know, I want them to really just give us, like, because back then TV shows had that that drive. Like, any character could die, any character could get killed off at any time, because they didn't really care back then. Like, characters, they didn't really care back then. Like Avatar, they said kill or like murder, like kill them or whatever, take a person's life, like bullshit like that. So pretty much Peter Parker go against big bads, him really feeling the devastation and blows against his big bads, and even Peter going as far as to go too far one day. And in the end of the series, we see him kill Green Goblin, taking a little bit of inspiration from, not Green Goblin, don't see him kill Green Goblin, because I want them to introduce the Gwen Stacy death near season 2. Now, season 1 is basically just Peter growing up and finding his place as a superhero, as he eventually takes down his big bad, his arch enemy, Green Goblin, putting him in jail, and him having a little bit of a rivalry against Osborn near the end of the series. Then we get picked up with season 2. Season 2 being more of a crossover season, with Peter having a crossover series with, not crossover series, but him having like a crossover episode with Invincible. Basically it being a episode on the aftermath of the eventual Invincible Spider-Man crossover episode. And basically with this, we get hit with Spider-Man basically just going through life after his whole encounter with the multiverse. As we see that he gets hit with this, as he mainly gets hit with a bunch of more crossovers every 3 episodes throughout the series. As he has a crossover with like Daredevil, characters like Moon Knight, Iron Fist, even characters like Luke Cage and Iron Man, and some of the Avengers as well. As he has crossovers with those, eventually he gets offered to be an Avenger near the end of the season. As he takes it down, he rejects it, saying that he wants to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and he thinks about it. As the series ends off there, him still figuring out his way as a hero, and him becoming better and more mature. Him being about in his junior, sophomore year at this point. Now we get hit with season 4. Now season 4 is going to be like really multiversal. Like, it's gonna have a lot of multiverse tropes. He's gonna go against the Spider-Verse is gonna be a big portion of this pretty much episode or series this season. There's gonna be a big trope of this season, and Peter's gonna be basically going up against a lot, and I mean a lot, of big bads. Characters like a Venomized, Sandman, kind of like the scrapped, canceled multiplayer PS5 Spider-Man game. Basically, us seeing a lot more multiversal type characters, and it basically getting hit with that. As we see Peter go up against these big bads and him dealing with all these events and stuff, as eventually near the end of that, we get hit with Green Goblin escaping in between the season, after the Spider-Verse season, or the Spider-Verse convergence and whatever trope is now ended off, and he saves the multiverse and stuff with the help of Invincible crossing over in his 4th season. And then after that, we get hit with Spidey basically fighting against Green Goblin after he escapes throughout this whole mess, and eventually Green Goblin kills Gwen, as Gwen's going to be the main love interest for Peter throughout these last 3 seasons. Now, season 4 is going to be a lot more, I guess you could say, a lot more grounded in this take. He's going to be a lot more grounded and a lot more better equipped with everything going on. So season 4 is going to be basically Peter going up against big bads and him dealing with the loss of Gwen's death. Eventually him finding MJ, as MJ would be a childhood friend, we knowing about her by season 1, but him and her becoming a relationship by season 4, but like in between season 4, after Peter's still trying to cope with the mess of losing Gwen. As this relationship between them, this sub-relationship between MJ and Peter is basically grown throughout the whole entire season, and eventually actually looked upon, and a real light is actually really shined on it in season 4. Now, at the end of season 4, Peter and Miles get together. Pause! And after Peter and Miles get together, and Peter and MJ get together, throughout this whole season, it's basically just us getting introduced to more Spider-Man villains and more rogue galleries, and a lot more obscure Spider-Man villains, like, I guess, The Will or The Wall, as you don't know those characters, but maybe they can make another animated version of them, maybe make them a lot more pop culture-wise, and maybe go up against characters like Blizzard and characters like that. So I want him to go against more characters like that and more obscure Spider-Man villains, but have them a lot more, like, I guess, villainous, a lot more, not just one-way, throwaway characters. As I want the big main villain of this series to be, Jackal. As the main part of the series is Peter fighting against big bads, but also a little bit of the, Clone Saga will be hinted to in this season. As season 5 will open up with the Clone Saga, and Peter basically find a relationship between MJ, as Peter and MJ get together, as the main part of this series is the clone arc. Now, through this clone arc, whatever, of the series, we get hit with Miles. Miles' character will be a occurring character throughout season 4, us being introduced to him as a character, but us being introduced to him as Spider-Man, and learn more about him as a character in season 5. As eventually, near the end of season 5, Miles gets his powers, the last 5 episodes, as we get hit with season 6. Season 6 is mainly going to be near the end off of the season, or the end off of the series, as Miles learns about being Spider-Man and learns the responsibilities of being Spider-Man after the death of his father in season 5. As season 6 is mainly just Peter teaching him the ways of Spider-Man after the whole Clone Saga and arc would have happened. And after this, we get hit with Peter basically going to pretty much Green Goblin's grave after the events of season 4, after Gwen would have died, Peter actually going as far as to kill Green Goblin, and Harry being a big trope against Peter, as he would have been like the new Green Goblin being introduced into the series. Now, Harry and Miles would have fought. Miles almost getting killed by Harry, Peter having to jump in and actually having to take down Harry, putting him in a coma, as it would be a huge, kind of breakdown for Peter going as far as to hurt his own friend, and him even going as far as to retire for a little bit. Mainly the rest of season 6 being focused more on Miles, giving the public a little bit of a taste for Miles Morales as Spider-Man in this continuity, giving him this type of role as the main Spider-Man throughout the rest of the season. Throughout the rest of the series or season, as what would happen is with season 7 being the last season, as we would get hit with the symbiote arc. Now, the symbiote arc, we would have got hit with the symbiote arc. Basically, Peter getting the symbiote after the events of Osborn and Harry being, in a coma, and was it Osborn being dead, and all those other things happening. And throughout the season 6, we get hit with Peter basically having the symbiote for about a few episodes as he fights against Miles, and it's basically an animated version of the PS5 Spider-Man 2 Miles and Peter fight. And it's basically like that. Like, it's gonna be super well animated, and pretty much it's a two-parter with them fighting against each other. Now, eventually, Miles is able to best Peter with some smarts, not being able to fight him hand-to-hand or physical strength, but him being able to lure him in a sound room, being built with the help of Ned, Miles' friend, as they would have been able to defeat Peter with the symbiote. As the symbiote would have been taken off, Miles grabbing it in a container, and for the duration of the season, basically Venom being in a jar. Now, near the end of season 7, not in season 7, but like throughout season 7, we get hit with a lot more symbiote arc, Venom being introduced as a character, and a bunch more characters being hit with time after time after time. Now, what would happen is doing this whole series, doing this whole event, pretty much Venom would become a hero near the end of the season. Miles would become a better Spider-Man, him still being taught under the wing of Peter. Peter eventually marrying MJ, but also in the end of the season, Peter having to let go and deal with the loss of his Aunt May. As in the end of the whole season, with the Null arc being a big part of season 7 being the longest season throughout the whole series, it being about 20 episodes. As what would happen is basically the Null arc would have happened, Venom and Eddie Brock would have happened, and a bunch more things would have happened. Also, the whole event with Aunt May eventually having to pass on and Peter eventually having to let go. As Peter would have let go, and throughout this whole series, Peter would have just tried to deal with this emotional stress. Now, it is another one I want to do. Maybe not introduce the Null arc or Venom arc at all, and just have Venom as a two-parter episode in season 1, and not have Null be a part of this season, and just basically get hit with season 7, just being Peter doing the whole Silver arc. As basically, this series could be a start-off, then making spin-off more animated series, making a animated Iron Man series, animated Captain America season, or Avengers season, as it could spin off with a Civil War, as we see an animated version of Peter going up against Kingpin after his identity will be exposed, and Aunt May almost being killed, and Peter going off basically Peter going crash out 100, like he's crashing out. As that could be a little bit of I guess that could be one possibility, but I feel like the Null arc might be better for the solo Spider-Man animated TV show. Now, he deals with the cope of and the loss of losing Aunt May, and we feel that loss too because Aunt May's going to be a current hero, or not current hero, but a current apprentice or helper to Peter, as we really get shown more of a grasp of Aunt May, as mainly Aunt May is just a side character, as she's just a parent to Peter. But throughout the whole season, through season 4, Aunt May is exposed, or not exposed, but they show Aunt May knows about Peter's, identity. And Aunt May helps Peter sometimes and pretty much stitches up his suit and stuff like that. As well, Aunt May is basically a character that we start to grow and love and basically throughout the whole entire season. And when she dies, a lot of the community is uproared by this. As Peter eventually deals with the loss of his aunt, by the end of the season, him eventually marrying MJ, Miles becoming a better Spider-Man, and him finding a love interest between Vulture's daughter, as it is, it is a love interest between them. But yeah, so basically, put it simple, a lot more characters would have had happy endings, and there'll be a spin-off, like a cliffhanger for Miles as part of his story being opened with a bigger cliffhanger with Miles basically getting a spin-off TV show, it being approved, and in this universe it being approved, or this whole idea of mine. I just got this idea. This is a fever dream idea. I just want to make a video on it real quick. But before I end off the video, basically what happened is Miles would get a spin-off show, and that spin-off show would basically just be Miles going against basically big bads, him crossing up and doing crossovers with other Avengers and street tier heroes, him even having a crossover with more multiverse characters, even a multiverse version of an older Miles Morales, as he gets shown the truth between everything. As we also get hit with more Prowler episodes, because Prowler would be a recurring villain with season 1 of the Spider-Man animated show. As Miles' animated show would basically just be more of Miles going up against bigger and more scarier foes, and him getting some help from Peter, as Peter would be basically a cameo character throughout the whole season. Him coming in between Miles when he's in his lowest point, giving him advice, and basically being a father figure for him after his father would have died. Now what would happen is Miles, near the end of the series, would become a better Spider-Man than Peter, and him truly finding his own path as being the best and only Spider-Man in his world. Peter eventually retiring after Miles would have shown himself to be the better Spider-Man in this continuity. Not the better Spider-Man, but basically him becoming a good Spider-Man. Enough to save the city time in and time out. Him having full faith in Miles, Peter, as Peter would eventually say Miles is ready, as he would have retired and would have raised his 2 kids with MJ in the suburbs, somewhere else, but somewhere similar or close to New York City. Him trying to still be in his roots, but him raising his 2 kids with MJ and them just having a blast. So basically, it's simple. Peter gets his happy ending. Miles gets his happy ending as him basically becoming the new Spider-Man of New York City, and then also getting in a relationship with another teenage hero, basically this version of Gwen, as Gwen would have been a introduced character doing the Spider-Verse arc in season 3 or season 4, as she would have came back after her universe would be destroyed by whatever Dr. Lynch will be doing in the Invincible world, as that's going to be basically a spinoff within the Invincible series. But basically simple, yeah, so Gwen comes back in this universe and falls in love with Miles, and they have a happy, basically sidekick or partner duo fighting against crime in the city. Now, to put it simple, yeah, so Miles finds his happy ending, becomes the Spider-Man of New York City, the new Spider-Man, as Peter grows old with MJ, raising his 2 kids, and basically leaving a lot of space for a spin-off, let's say, Penny Parker series, or a spin-off series of any version of these multiverse characters in season 4, maybe even a spin-off for Peter's 2 kids, and a spin-off for everything. So basically simple, this whole series, these 2 seasons, or these 2 TV shows, Miles' animated show and Peter's animated show, I feel like it would be awesome. To see this and to have it work in the Invincible art style, I feel like it could work so well and the cash grab would go crazy. I feel like it would be awesome, but that's just my take. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and as always, guys, have a blessed day. Deuces.